he has traveled the country speaking, traveled North America speaking to all kinds of audiences. And he's going to tell us some of those tales from the trenches, rules from the road. And with that, I'll introduce Michael Charest.
Thank you, Jeff. How exciting. I went out on a date last night, so my single date might be over. Woo! She's pretty awesome. So we'll see. I just moved to Connecticut from my most recent home was in Dayton, Ohio, but I've lived in several different places, but I grew up in New England, so it's excited to be back. Jeff, can you just remind me how much time do I have? Whatever it is, I'm going to keep it less than that.
Well, you have 20 minutes for the keynote, and then we're going to have a 10 or 15 minute conversation about your keynote.
Okay, cool. Okay, and I'm all about giving value, and so today will be I'll weave in some tales from the trenches, but 95% of this will be about making sure that after 20 minutes you're better off in booking the amount of gigs you want and getting the money you want from it and serving the people you want. So first, let me just get a feel for the room real quick. Just share how many times on average you speak a year, if you don't mind. Anybody, no particular order. Just share that just so I get an idea. And also, sorry, how many times do you speak? How many times would you like to speak? Thanks, Jeff. And you're on mute now, so you'd have to unmute yourself.
Yeah, so I speak about 5 or 6 times a year. I would like to get that over a dozen. I'd like it to be a monthly deal.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
I'm at about a dozen. I'd like to, triple or quadruple that.
Got it. Awesome.
This month I've already spoken 3-4 times actually. I'd just like to build that into better business, and I think COVID's kind of messing it up.
Got it. Okay,
Yeah.
Thanks, Sean. How about you?
Prior to COVID, I was probably between speaking and publicly teaching, 25 times a year, maybe more. And I would love to have that be once a week or more.
Okay, cool. So you guys are three of you are in and around the same ballpark, and then Barb is about where I am, averaging 2 times per month. So that just gives me an idea of how to tailor this for you. So the first thing I want us to do is just really, and I want us to be mindful about this, let's just really all kind of meditate for a moment amongst ourselves, and then let's share verbally the benefits of speaking, and even speaking for free in particular, and the benefits that has on our business and life. So let's just take a minute and think, maybe make a note or two, and then we'll just share. And the purpose of this is to really get excited about, just hitting a home run and speaking as many times as we want, and generating as much revenue we want from our speaking for the remainder of 2020 and all of 21. Okay, who wants to share? Just give us a big benefit of speaking. Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah, so, it really makes me happy.
Yeah.
The audience looks like or appears to have enjoyed the conversation, or the presentation is more like it, because it's really not a conversation. And the other thing is that every time I speak, I learn problems that I need to answer before the objection comes. And so it's really helped me better my presentation, my sales presentation, the one-on-one sales presentation, by being able to speak in the group and just kind of try out different answers and see what the group does.
Love it. So first, it makes you happy. And
Yeah.
Notice when he said that, not only did Jeff smile, pretty much we all smiled as soon as he said it, because we're happy for him and we know what that's like. Like I literally thought, yay, like this. am I working right now? Is this fun? Is this, I don't know what I'd rather be doing on a rainy Friday in Connecticut than speaking to people and having fun. So thank you, Jeff. And you're learning a ton. So you're growing. You know, Jeff's what, 30, 32 years old, and he's still growing and he's still evolving as a person and in incorporating what he's learning into his talk. So everybody's continuing to grow with him. What else do we have? Come on.
I'll share. I am very energized by speaking. You know, I'm a high I personality, and I love to learn things that help other people and then share it with groups.
Yep.
And add value. So whenever I find something I think is really important, I just can't wait to share it with someone if it might improve their life.
Absolutely.
And like Jeff, I learn too. Every time I speak, I learn from the people in the audience, especially if I connect with them a lot afterwards. So
very good. So, and you're energized, you're giving value, you're sharing, you're learning, you're helping, you're supporting. Awesome. Like how great is that?
yeah.
What a great feeling. What else?
Well,
At least one more. Yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
we're getting opportunities to grow our business.
Yeah, yeah. If you do speaking right, or when you do it right, so then you should be generating revenue from free talks. So just all of these things, being happy, giving value, serving, energized. For me, it's changed my life. I've met thousands of people. I've visited foreign countries. I've checked things off on my bucket list during my speaking. This is back in the day when we actually traveled to speak, and that will come back again for those of us that do want it. But in the meantime, we have an awesome opportunity to get all these needs met and not even have to leave our house. But the other big thing it's done is it generates for me on a not so great year, $150,000 a year, sometimes $250,000 a year in revenue from speaking for free. So I want to kind of just share with you how that can happen and how to make it happen so that you're even more excited about speaking. Because I don't know about you, but I don't think there's anything wrong with making good money and making the money we want, and especially with all of us. The more money we make, it's a function of how many people we're serving, right? Does anybody on this call make any money without being of service to people? Yeah. And so we owe it to ourselves and to them to be putting ourselves out there and serving them as much as possible. So let's just, and some of this, I'll just say, may be 100% consistent with what Jeff shared. Some may be 80, some might be a little bit different. Like Jeff said, no, there's no competition here or anything, but I just want to share where I've made my bread and butter is to associations. So if any of you have heard of an old school book, back in the day when I started speaking 20 years ago, I was living in Redondo Beach, California, and everybody else is going surfing and playing volleyball and getting tan, and I'm in the Redondo Beach Library looking at these 4 big, thick volumes of books with a Starbucks coffee, making photocopies of associations, looking out the window going, I'd rather be doing what you're doing, but what do they say? Someday I'm gonna be doing what you would wanna be doing. So I felt like I was paying my dues, but the book I got in the library was called The Encyclopedia of Associations. And I learned there are 18,000 unique professional associations in the United States alone, catering to any topic you could humanly and possibly imagine. So I'm sure there's the United States Association of Cat Owners to appeal to Jeff, or the National Association of Women Business Owners, or pick a topic, the Vacuum Cleaners Association of America. If you speak on a topic, there are associations that cater to that market. So what should you be doing? And I'll just leave it up to you. Find the associations that cater to your market and offer to speak to them. As Jeff likes to say, I used to say for free, but I love the way he taught me, in exchange. How do you word it, Jeff? Forgive me. I'm going to waive my fee.
There you go.
I would like to speak to your group. I'm willing to waive my fee. Be totally upfront and authentic with them. Why am I willing to waive my fee? Because your audience is 100% congruent with my target market. And A, I love speaking and serving folks in your association. And B, I'm going to make a 1-minute offer at the end to have a one-on-one consultation with me for those that are interested. And you be upfront about that. And this ties to what Jeff Weaver said. You might give a 30-minute, a 45-minute, a 60-minute, a 75-minute presentation, and you spend literally 1 to 3 minutes marketing yourself. And you're not even selling anything. You're simply offering a one-on-one consultation. They say, yes, you do it. And I'll tell you what, I've probably given 150 talks, and I think maybe 12 or 13 of them, I didn't get at least one client from it. So that's how the money plays out. And we'll talk about some numbers in a little bit. But so back in the day, it was the Encyclopedia of Associations. Now you can go online and just Google your target market. You can actually, there's other resources now that sell lists that used to be in the Encyclopedia Associations. Now they're all broken down into databases. You just Google that. The company that actually still sells the Encyclopedia of Association is called Gale, G-A-L-E. It's a reference book. You can buy it for a couple $100. Last year's copy, the information is still the same. And oftentimes your public library will give you online access to the book for free. Okay. So it's unbelievable. These associations are out there. They usually have monthly meetings, and they're looking for speakers at each one of their meetings. So any questions or comments just on that? This isn't a presentation to get into the nitty gritty of all this stuff. And
they all have chapters in the big
bingo.
cities. Yeah.
Thank you, Jeff, for pointing that out.
Yeah.
So like, as an example, I came across the International Coach Federation. That's one. My other big market was the National Association of Women Business Owners. And then another big market for me was the National Association of Professional Organizers, all solopreneurs, just like I said. And what I ended up doing is speaking to chapter after chapter after chapter. So I would get on a plane and fly to St. Louis, Kansas City, Los Angeles. I went to Australia, New Zealand, Italy on my own dime. I went to Australia and New Zealand and did a 15-city tour that I paid about $4,000 or $5,000 out of my own pocket to go there and do. But I came back with $75,000 in business. And I got to have like a great, awesome 3-week vacation while I was there. But it's the chapter level that allow these numbers to start stacking up. Questions, comments?
What do you send to them when you have their contact information? What do you send to open the door?
Yeah, great question. And I'm so glad Jeff talked today about the one sheet, because I'm ashamed and sickeningly embarrassed to say this, but I don't even have a one sheet. And it just goes to show how it can still work, although it doesn't work these things don't work as well today without being buttoned down. So I simply send them a very short letter. So like, and I'm in the process now of reaching out to ICF again. If I go to their website and they don't already have a RFP to fill out, I just simply say, I look for the program director. If I can't find that, I send an email to the president, and I just say, hi, Mrs. Johnson. My name's Michael Charest. I'm a professional speaker and business coach, and I would love to offer to speak to your chapter at no fee. Is this something you would be interested in? That's basically my email. And then a key that I'll probably talk about a little later, or maybe I'll just dump it on you now, is if you got to follow up, because these people, they don't respond for whatever reason. You got to be really committed to following up. But that's just what I send them, Barbara. Very simple. You don't spend a lot of time researching these associations, because only a select few of them are going to say yes to you anyway. So you don't spend 20 minutes on their website going, oh, are they the perfect group? And I'm not sure. And let me see who the members are, because only 1 out of 15 are going to book you anyway. So if you think they might be a fit, shoot them that short letter. Does that help, Barbara? Cool.
Michael, quick question. In the world of YouTube and Instagram, what role does having a, I don't know, introductory video or some kind of a video presentation play in what you do?
Yes. Short answer is it really helps. I have several chapters that I'm talking to right now, and I'd say 1 out of 3 ask me to direct them to a video or to send them a video of a webinar that I've already done.
And
so
what do you find, do you, on the video you send them, is it just, you know, self-produced, or do you have somebody actually shoot a video for you?
Yeah, so I'm going to answer that in 2 ways. One is the way you should do it. So the short answer is you want a professionally produced, quote, demo reel. It does not, you don't need to spend a ton of money on this. Maybe it could be as little as $500 to $1,500. But a 5-minute demo reel that shows you actually speaking and also has some voiceover as to how to hire you and what you do. That's the best way to do it. I don't have that right now. Just a quick aside, you guys, I just restarted my business after a 5-year hiatus. So I'm still building this back up, but that's what you ultimately want to have, Mike. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. Just keeping an eye on time. I want to just run some numbers for you guys. And how many of you love numbers and projections and math? Jeff, thank you. Jeff Weaver. So Sean, Barbara, Mike, and Jeff Klein are going to hate this part of the presentation. So I'm just warning you. But I'm going to try to make this as simple as I can, because I really think if you can embrace these formulas, it will open up your world and allow you to see how you can make the money you want. So if you would take notes, please do this. So first of all, this is what we have found over measuring our statistics for about 15 years and also working with dozens of clients and measuring their statistics, okay? So 1 out of 15 professional associations that you reach out to will book you on average. Sometimes you might send out 15 emails and you'll get 4 bookings. Then you might send 30 and get none, but on average, 1 out of 15, okay? So it's some work. You need to follow up with the 15 in order to book the 1, right? So sometimes they'll fall on your lap and be quick, but moreover, you need to be persistent, okay? Let's say you speak to a group. Let me just ask you, what is an average number of people to use for a number for attendance? I can use any number you guys want. People in a room when you speak. Anybody? Is it 30? Is it 100? Is it 15? Is it 200? What number do you want to use? If not, I'll pick one.
25 to 30 for me, usually.
Say it again.
25 to 30
Perfect.
normally. Yeah.
That's perfect. And that's kind of what I was going to use, Sean. Sometimes it's small, 10, 15 people. Other times it's 50. When we do, I don't know if you guys have noticed this yet, but when you do speak in person, typically it's interesting, more people show up than what's going on now in Zoom. It's so easy for people to register for stuff. And then, yeah, I don't really feel like it. I'd rather eat dinner right now than go to a Zoom call. So it's interesting what's going on. But let's just use 25 people. The way it plays out, you guys, that when you deliver in an effective talk, and there's of course a lot that goes into what is effective. Okay, Jeff Weaver talked a little bit about it. Jeff Klein teaches this stuff as I do. Don't have time to cover all those steps today, but let's just say you just kill it. You're speaking to your target market, you're passionate, you're funny, they like it, you're teaching them stuff, they're feeling pleasure and pain and the emotion of your talk. At the end of the talk, when you offer a consultation to visit with you to see if they might want to hire you as their coach or consultant or trainer, 20% of the people in the room should sign up. So if you have a room full of 25, anybody know what 20% of 25 is? 5. Good. 5 consults. When you get the 5 consults, 80% will show up to your consultation. 20% will no show or cancel. It's just the way it goes, right? So if you take 5 and you multiply it by 80%, you're going to actually deliver 4 consults. If you did 4 one-on-one consults with a person who saw your talk, let's use Barbara as an example. She's doing this awesome talk on relationships and men and women, and they're in the audience going, oh my God, like she's got more knowledge in her little finger. No wonder why my wife is pissed at me half the time, right? And then she offers a consultation and they show up and Barbara's talking to them, and maybe it's a couple and they're loving the consult. Being modest, how many people should hire you out of 4 consults?
I think all of them should hire me.
I do too, Barbara. I think all of them should hire you for sure. So you might use the number 4 out of 4. Would anybody else be okay with a little less? Yeah, there you go. Would anybody else be okay with a little less?
So maybe 12 out of 16?
Yeah, 12 out of 16. What's that number? 12 divided by 16. That's 75%. You know, even if you got 33%, let's just pick a real modest number. Let's say your offering is a pretty high dollar amount, a $8,000 offering. Then obviously the bigger your offering, the less are going to say yes. So let's just say 33%. So if you do 4 consults, maybe you'll get 1 or 2 clients. Okay. So now what you do is you just take the average revenue per client and multiply it by the 1.5 or 2 or 1 people you're going to get per talk. So I averaged just shy, like 1.9, 2 clients per talk, okay, for my career. I would do I tasked my mom, by the way, my 74-year-old mom at the time. No, I'm sorry, 64-year-old mom at the time. She was my speaking booker. Okay, she did all the legwork of the associations. Now my brother does it for me. Of course, Jeff does it as well in a different market. But I challenged her with booking me twice per month, and she always hit her number. So 24 talks per year times just shy of 2 clients per talk. That's 48 clients for me, right? And an average client is $6,000. 48 times 6, that's $288,000 of revenue just from delivering those talks. And that's how the numbers play out, okay? Whatever your numbers are. Any questions or comments? So like, if you get nothing else from this call, but start massaging those statistics for you and getting excited and go, wow, in 2021, I want to generate 80K, 100K, a million, whatever your number is, then you can start backing out, okay, I need to book these amount of talks. And now you have a little blueprint and you can measure your numbers against these and constantly work to improve. I'll take a breath and we're just about done. So questions or comments on that?
I have 2 quick questions.
2 quick questions. I thought you were saying peace. Peace,
Peace,
Michael.
man, peace. I'm a recovering accountant, so I actually love the numbers. I just
Perfect.
didn't want to admit it by raising my hand. So two quick questions. So I'm assuming this consultation is a free consultation that you're
Yes.
offering?
Yep.
And what is the length of that? Is that 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour?
45 minutes to an hour. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And of course, I teach all this stuff and I'm pretty meticulous. So I have a map of what should be covered for how long. And of course, taking that only as a guideline and then incorporating your personal style into it. But yeah, they take about 45 minutes to an hour. Great question. Any others?
I have a list of questions that I use for those consultations. And I've been kind of sending it out beforehand. Do you advise that? Or, I mean, I know that's really a nitpicky detail, but do you advise sending out beforehand, or do you advise just sitting down with that person and going over it with them?
Great question. I advise sending out 3 questions in the email when you confirm their consultation. And the generic version of the 3 questions is, what is it you want? How will you feel when you get it? And how will you feel if you don't? That's the generic version for you to tweak, because one of the main parts of not only your talk, but the consultation is to generate emotion, right? People buy with emotion. So you really want them to feel what it'll feel like to work with you and achieve what it is they want and feel the pain of not achieving it. Classic Tony Robbins. Of course, he didn't invent this, but the pain of not achieving it.
Yeah. Cool.
So I'll end there, Jeff. I think my 20 minutes are up, and now we can do whatever you'd like.
Q&A, stories,
Perfect.
successes, not so successes. Sometimes we learn more from our not so successes.
You want me to share some of my not successes? Is that what you
Well,
were
let's see
asking?
let's see if people have questions first.
Because I sure got plenty of those. I've been bloodied. But go ahead.
Ditto. Anybody have a question? All right, carry on.
Yeah, I mean, so I love that Jeff actually brought that up, because I'm sure you know this, and I also just like you to hear it from me. As awesome as all this sounds, it doesn't always work out that way. I can't tell you how many well, I think I said, what did I say, 13, 14 talks where I got nothing. And it's not surprising to me now, but it was then, like how hard it was to not get anything. And, I remember sitting in a parking lot. I did a talk in Boston, Massachusetts, and I was so excited because I was living in probably Kansas City at the time, maybe LA. And I flew to New England, where I live now, and I felt like I was coming home. And I pull up to the hotel, and there's cars everywhere. And of course, it never even occurred to me that, it looked like the president was in town. Not that insane, but there were a lot of people, and it never even occurred to me that they were there for my talk. And they were. It was a little local hotel, and like 185 people showed up. There was literally standing room only. And I did what I thought was an awesome talk, and I got 0 consultations, let alone clients. So that really sucked. And I remember sitting in the parking lot across the street at a McDonald's or something, calling my mom and my brother, because they worked for me. And I was like, I don't know what the heck I did, but I sure did something wrong. And, those things happen, as I'm sure we all know. So there's the great things that happen. There's the challenging things that happen. But as we know, the challenging ones are the ones that really make you think. And like, I went through the whole process. Okay, was this my target market? How was the quality of my talk? Was I humorous? Did I help with emotion? Did I answer the question? Go through the whole thing. And, and I realized, okay, this is what you really need to do better next time. So.
When you ask them to book a consultation with you, how do you usually do that? Do you have cards that you pass out, real life paper? Do you give email addresses? What have you found to be the most effective?
Yeah.
Like, I have cards, and I can't tell, if there's a better approach or.
Yeah. So back in the day, I did, I actually passed, if it was a smallish audience, 20, 30, 40 people, I actually passed a clipboard around with time slots. So people could pick a time. Now, of course, with technology, you can just send your scheduler or have them text and receive your scheduler. Like if this were forgive me, not that this is not a real talk, but like you guys are my compatriots. I would pop my scheduler in the Zoom link and have people do it that way. Then the key is you really got to offer the consultation in a real, obviously ethical, dignified way, and don't be too bashful about it. Because too many more people, you got the ones that deliver a 20-minute talk and 15 minutes of it is a sales pitch. And then you got the ones that give, and then say, oh, by the way, if anybody wants any more information, here's my link to schedule a consult. And like, that doesn't work at all.
So maybe just use Calendly and then have your 3 questions in there is what I'm kind of thinking.
Oh, got it. Yep. You could have it in Calendly.
No, I've done that in other instances, but not recently with talks. And I'm thinking I really need to do that, push that more. Just, here's my link in Calendly, maybe even have it on something I'm passing out that's on their paper or something. And
yeah, you really want to take a couple of minutes and build up a case for why they should register. So I'll just do this for the recording. So I'll say something like, How many of you got value from today's talk? You know, just raise your hand. You guys can do it. Like, raise your hand if you got value from today's talk. Cool. As good as this was, you guys, this was just 20 minutes. And you know, I'm not sure if you're all aware, but in addition to being speaker, I'm a business coach, and I love working one-on-one with my clients and in small groups. So for those of you that are really psyched and committed to building your business in 2021 and beyond, I would love to visit with you. I call this a complimentary consultation. It's 45 minutes to an hour. I'm popping my scheduler in the chat room right now. And I would guess there's 2 or 3, maybe 4 of you in the room right now that are really serious and committed. If you are, the call's free. And 3 things are going to happen in it. Number 1, you're going to get value. So I'm going to actually coach you and support you in your business during the call. Number 2, you get to interview me to determine whether or not you'd like to hire me to be your coach. And 3, I get to interview you, because I only offer my coaching to those that I know I can help. So if any of that resonates with you and you would like a consultation, go ahead and sign up now. Are there any questions? So that's how I do my offer. And that's what gets about 15 to 20% on Zoom calls, and then a little bit higher at live events. Does that help, Sean?
I took notes.
Good.
Yeah, I'm doing more and more live events, so that's a good way to close out a talk.
Yeah.
And Zoom's good too, because you have all the information there, and yeah,
For sure.
very helpful.
Cool. Any other questions?
Talk about learning from our mistakes. That's sort of the predicate for all of my education now.
Yeah.
You know, I did my 3-year 250 engagement, and learned a lot of things to do different. And there's no way to learn that without having it happen.
Yeah. Getting out there and doing it. Yeah.
Michael, question as far as your particular business, do you have fixed programs that you provide, you know, like one from column A, one from column B, or do you in the consult set up a individualized program and then charge accordingly?
Yeah, somewhere in between. So I have, like, my core offering is a combo of one-on-one and small group coaching, because over the years I found that works best for my clients and for me. So I'll kind of start with that. And then, of course, the one-on-one portion of it is very customized for that person. You know, we start with a blueprint session and map out their goals and their, you know, et cetera. So it's a bit of both.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, because that's essentially the same thing I do, and
Yeah.
it works.
Yeah, I think what I find is people they're okay with knowing you've got a system in a way that you do things. It gives them comfort, and okay, I'm not, he or she helps many people like me. And when you blend that with, and of course this will be tweaked and customized for you and what you're working on personally, it kind of is a nice blend.
Now, do you also have content which you sell? In other words, courses or printed or, you know, video material or whatever, or is it all just, you know, one-on-one personalized coaching?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Anything else? Thanks, guys. Pleasure to serve you. Hopefully it was helpful.
Absolutely.
Don gave me a double thumbs up.
There you go. Good deal.
So that counts for like 3. Oh my God. Barbara did the same thing. So two doubles is 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, there we go. Done.
Now it's a
Done.
bandwagon.
Yeah.
All right. So at this point of the meeting, we ask people if they've got announcements, if they've had wins lately. We want to hear about those. I had a win. I spoke in person for the first time, I think, this year. I did a 2-hour training for a district office of farmers insurance agents. Went really well, and even sold a few of my $20 things afterwards.
Nice.
That was a paid training engagement, and I still took home an extra $60.
Hello. And you got to do it live.
Yeah, I put a stool up in front of the room and did the 2 hours without a break, and good stuff. It went and got lots of warm fuzzies when we were done, and a couple of thank you emails since then.
Nice.
Who else? Who's got wins for us?
I just want to tell a quick little story. I've been having some fun, if you will, with some networking groups. I determined that most networking groups are people actually prospecting for people in the room instead of networking. So I started a whole group, long story on that, but I started counting up the number of referrals that I give out a month, and I was shocked. I found out I give out 60 plus referrals a month. So I made it part of my commercial, and I was amazed at how many people didn't come up to want to meet me and get my referrals. So I'm a little dismayed at the networking groups, and that's why I really like that Michael brought up the associations, because I think that would be a more powerful play for me, is to look to speak to associations of some sort.
Well, let's backtrack on that topic, which we should have talked about during the roundtable. We didn't mention the Association of Associations.
Yeah.
Michael, I don't know how much how much your experience is with ASAE.
It's none.
Okay.
Yeah, so I would love anything.
So ASAE is the American Society of Association Executives. TSAE is the Texas Society, and I'm pretty sure there's a state association in every state. Now, these are the people who work at the trade association. And then in Dallas here, we have one of the better chapters in the country, the DFW-AE, Dallas-Fort Worth Association Executives. And these are the people who run the Oil Change Association. They run Mensa. They run the Bowling Proprietors Association, and most of those associations, as Michael said, have monthly meetings. And because we're and same thing in Houston. I know there's a few headquartered in San Antonio, Mike. I know there's more, obviously, with Austin offices because of the state capital. But they're looking for, they usually have 11 meetings a year. They're looking for 8 to 10 speakers every year for each chapter. And of course, now with this whole COVID thing, we're sending speakers all over the world without leaving our house.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. It's a great way, if you're not sure which association to go after, if you can get into the association executives, they might come to you. And because they're hungry for content for their members. And here in pre and post COVID here in Dallas, they have they have an association day every year where it's a full day event where they have 8 or 10 speakers throughout the day.
Wow. And Jeff, this is ASAE?
Yes.
Yeah. Just a quick thing to add for Jeff. I'm getting off on my math today. Let's just say there are 1,000 associations, each that have a chapter in each state. Okay, and we know there are way more than 1,000 associations, and many have more than one chapter per state. They have multiple chapters. Jeff just named 4 or 5 cities. So 1,000 times 50 chapters is 50,000 times 11 months where they bring in a speaker. That's 550,000 speakers that are delivering talks just for those 1,000 associations. That just
and those groups will almost never pay upfront for that speaker.
Yeah, I mean that just makes me so excited about like rolling out my sleeves and reaching out to these places.
Yeah, and that's how that's our premise here at Speaker Co-op. That's our niche. Any speaker who wants to list themselves on our website is welcome to. but the education there is about getting booked and like, so, you know, and there's some lessons on sales and converting and all those things. And again, Michael, you need to at least make your consultation offer, which you didn't do.
Well, to be honest, I wasn't thinking about this as an opportunity for business, and I realized I did do the offer kind of as a example, but that was real. And then I just posted somebody private messaged me. I didn't even see who it was, and said, "Can you send your schedule link?" So I just posted it.
Oh, there you go. Okay, good.
So yeah, genuinely, if you guys are my target market, if anybody is at all interested in talking to see if we're a fit, it can't hurt, right? I mean, we literally just visit and collaborate and talk. Does it make sense to move forward? So feel free.
Excellent, excellent. And again, one of the things we do is teach people how to make offers. So we always want to observe how each person makes their offer. So, that being said,
turn off their phone. Sorry.
Well, yeah, I did it earlier. Does anybody have any other wins before we move on?
I have an announcement. I don't know if that's done in a different
Sure,
section.
that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, it's the 3-day class I've been telling you about, Jeff, and soon we'll have it up on the Speaker Co-op, and I'll put the information in the chat here. Hopefully it comes out looking good. So my husband and I are just very involved in a personal professional development group called the Personal Success Institute. They're the oldest personal development in North America. It's tax deductible, and we are, as volunteers, bringing the class to Dallas again. We had a class in June, and we're having a class again in mid-November. So I've put that information in the chat there, November 13th through the 15th. If anyone's interested in that, who's watching the replay, they can contact me. And there's a $200 discount code there. And it's just, did I already say it's tax deductible? Send all your employees. And it's just, it's very impactful work that, you know, has made a difference in our lives. And so we've got a little video there that we shared that we made about it. And then there's a longer video that's a presentation from one of the facilitators. So we'll have a live presentation that will also be on Zoom on October 30th. So look for that on the Speaker Co-op meetup soon.
Excellent. And there is Speaker Co-op membership information. I just put that link in the chat. We have, as I said, we have 3 levels of membership. You can get your speaker profile listed on speakercoop.com for as little as $10 a month. So there's no excuse not to be listed if you're looking to be found as a speaker. Our site is not just local. We have folks from all over the country who use it and are listed on it. So that being said, we're getting done a little bit early. Nobody ever complains about getting done early. So please tell your friends, and we are here the 3rd Friday of every month except December. And we also have a free education Zoom that we do the 2nd Tuesday of the month, where we have one of our members present their content. And next month's meeting will be a graphics and marketing panel. We have 2 graphic designers for our panel. And we will also, it's also our annual book fair, where we ask people to bring their books, and obviously, if we're Zooming, to, you know, hold up your book and have the link to be able to buy the book. And we may, depending on what happens with our Dallas COVID, we may have be meeting in person, but our in-person meeting will include a virtual component, so people can attend by Zoom, even if we do meet in person.
Cool.
So that being said, thank you. Please put this on your calendar as a recurring event, 11:15 to 1:15, the 3rd Friday of every month, except December. So thanks, everybody, and we'll see you on the Zooms.
Yay. Bye, everybody. Have a nice weekend.